to another video on my YouTube channel and the first video in my December Daily 2017 video series. Today I'm going to be sharing with you a look through my 2016 December Daily album and also some tips and tricks that I picked up along the way and some things that I would do differently if I was to be using this album this year. I wasn't able to get one of the Ali Edwards albums last year, so I'm hoping that this video will be helpful for those of you who missed out this year on getting the albums or also would like to keep the same as maybe other albums that you already have. Okay, so starting with the inside of my cover, I decided to use this monthly calendar page which came in the mini kit from Jasmine Jones last year, and I like the fact that this, as soon as opening my album, I can see all of the things that I did throughout the month, and I actually filled these in as I went. Unfortunately some of the pages did get smudged, but it doesn't really bother me too much. On the other page I kept it quite simple for my opening page. We have a family photo with my husband and I both writing Christmas Starts with Family and just using a few little stickers and some washi tape. I did try to use a few of the same sets of alphas throughout the albums for consistency, but also so that every page would be slightly different and wouldn't be the same. So for the 1st of December I decided that I was going to do 2 pages. My initial idea was to do 2 pages for each day, as I was hoping to really document all of the Christmas and festive season. On this page I decided to document our advent calendars. We are big children and still have the chocolate advent calendars each year, as well as I also had a handmade advent calendar made by my sister for me, and then my husband had a lucky dip bag where all of the presents were wrapped up and he had to dip in the bag and find the one which had the label for that day. We then also have here a page about our first decorations, when we started to put the decorations up in the house, and I did a really cool feature with washi tape here. I wanted to really use more of my washi tapes this year, so I decided I was just going to layer strips across them and just quite simply added a few little embellishments, but I didn't go too crazy. Next up I decided to make a collage page. So as well as what Ali Edwards has mainly said lots of times, you don't have to just do Christmas for your December Daily, it can feature everyday events as well. So on this day my husband was at work and it was just me and my mum, so we watched Christmas movies and got the house ready and we had like a really cozy lunch. I also decided to try and use some cool features I'd seen on other people's spreads that they were showing and make a little DIY flip with one of the cards that came again in that kit, and it just hides some journaling that says my husband had got a salted caramel mocha when the Christmas drinks had started coming out when he was at work. For this page it's just super simple, a couple of polka dots and a lot more of journaling. My niece turned 6, so we had a pizza party to celebrate her birthday. For the next 2 pages, my husband and I visited Santa Fe, which is a Christmas tree farm, and they also have reindeers. So this is a mismatch of pages. The photos are everywhere, and I couldn't really pick between photos I wanted to document, so I just decided to stick them all in with assorted different papers and right at the bottom. In hindsight I think I would do this page a little bit differently. I would do it more as mini layouts as opposed to just a big collage. I mean, I've got really cute embellishments and I have all of the story written down of when we went there, and that's what matters to me looking back. It's the same with this page. There's lots of photos, not really embellishments on the photos like I normally would do, they just tend to be more on the page. But I find as I'm looking back at it I don't mind as long as I have the memories of what happened. The next page is a little bit different again. This is another one of those life moments, not a Christmas moment, where my husband was doing his come and try session for his American football team. So there's some pictures of him there and just again making use of those different tapes and washies that I have, and then keeping a strip of journaling going down the side. The next page is just about how we had a moment watching Christmas movies, having hot chocolate. So I really wasn't focused too much on the whole page. If I wasn't going out somewhere I would just use a little moment from that day to make around my page. These pages, as you can see, have got no photos, and I am poorly, so a lot of my life is being at hospital or being poorly and not you know, being able to go out and do things. And I really wanted to document this in this album as well. On this day I really wanted to go and do lots of things, but I was unable to get out of bed and was really poorly, so I've just used my circle punches and added a couple of different embellishments and sequins and my huge gemstones. And then this page is very similar again, but for me this page is very important, as looking back now, I wrote here that my nan had been taken into hospital and was very poorly. My nan actually did pass away last year, so it's very special for me to be able to look back and really see when things happened and that she is included in this album. On the next page I decided to do a feature down the middle using some clear stickers that I had. Sometimes I find clear stickers to be a little bit difficult to work with, especially if you're using a white background or a light background. So I'm just documenting the Christmas tree and the lights that they always have. When I go to my hospital, they're always beautifully decorated for Christmas. The next day, on day 8, I had surgery, so I'm just documenting the things that I'd had here on that page. The next page is all about Christmas food shopping and buying the little bit of goodies. These alphas that you see here that are brown, these are actually white and cream stickers like these ones. I had multiple packs in there. If you're familiar, they are the Simple Stories mini alphas where you get, I think, 8 sheets in a pack. And I had multiple colours, and reds, greys, creams, and I used my alcohol markers, my Spectrum Noir, to just colour them all in. So I would either colour them red or colour them brown to make them fit in, because as they were all different colours and shades, I wanted to be able to use ones I could make words with. So there's that. The next page is all about the Christmas tree. We put up 2 Christmas trees, so I really wanted to document putting up the Christmas tree. It's my favourite thing to do of the festive season. And again, I'm using a mixture of embellishments. I'm using journaling cards, multiple photos. These bits of paper were just tiny scraps I had left, and I could make a feature with them. Next up is some handmade items for Christmas. My sister crocheted a Christmas tree skirt for the Christmas tree, so I've decided that I wanted to feature that in this album, so I've just put a couple of different pictures that show that and some hand journaling in the middle. I'm not really fussed whether my hand journaling sometimes can look messy. I think if I was to do a pocket page album, I would use a different type of journaling, you know, perhaps print it out and cut it into strips, but I like the really handmade feel that the album has. Next up, for the page 11, I'm documenting our first Christmas card, which was given to the both of us. It wasn't actually given to us on the 11th, but I felt like at this point in my album I wanted to start documenting more Christmassy things as well as just December. And these little dots I have here is a piece of wrapping paper that my dad gave to me that had polar bears on, as he thought I might like to use it in my scrapbooking. So you'll find that from this point on throughout the album there's lots of pieces of that dotted around. For the next page, again, it's a busy one. We had a mini photo shoot with my nephew, dressed him up like Santa and made Christmas cards. This is actually one of the Christmas cards which we handmade, and my nephew was only just able to scribble his own signature, as it were, on the cards, so I decided that I was going to put mine in here and just make a little flip to have some journaling behind it. The next day I was taking some inspiration or copying from Ali Edwards and made some tags for me and my husband with both of our Christmas wish on the back. So there's those, and I just used a piece of paper to make a pocket for those to sit in. So this is a page which I didn't actually get around to finishing, and there are a few of these on my album, but that's something which I've learnt by doing December Daily. My stories is all here. I can always add that photo, and I don't necessarily think that it matters too much to not have it be perfect. Especially given that I'd had surgeries and was poorly, it's more important to just get my stories down than to have a picture perfect album. The next page here is documenting a party that we had at the British Legion, which my family are a big part of. Again, this is a non-photo page, and I've just written down what we've had for dinner, so what was on the menu, and also a special piece of journaling here about how they made a speech about my grandmother, who obviously was in hospital and really poorly at this point. Rather than using Christmas ephemera on every page, I wanted to really incorporate some of the stuff which I won't be able to replicate, and it really was at that moment. The next page, we went to a mini market in our town, and I've just got a couple of photos of the little display. That's my husband getting his dinner, as you can see there, and then me with a gigantic burger. And I kept these relatively simple because I would rather finish the page and let the photos and the memories speak for themselves, as opposed to doing a huge jumble of pages like I've done before and then not really like it afterwards. The next page, this is where some of the pictures from the party from the previous page have gone. I do have some journaling which I want to add in the middle, as well as some extra photos. But these are the photos that I definitely wanted to remember now, and I thought were pivotal to remembering the day. Another simple day here for the 17th is just using some journaling cards and a little bit of journaling about cleaning the house and preparing for Christmas. Nothing really wow there, other than I was obsessed with using staples at this point, so many things in my album and my clear embellishments were stapled down. This has to be, I think, my all-time favourite page of the album. This is where I documented all of the movies that I'd watched this year. So we've got The Grinch, Elf, Home Alone, Arthur Christmas, The Muppets, The Snowman, Polar Express, Santa Claus, Nightmare Before Christmas, Babe, which is not really a Christmas film, but for some reason it always seems to only be on at Christmas, so I had to add that in, as well as The Addams Family, which is more Halloween, but these are what I was watching in December, and I've just used multiple different alphas to really create a collage effect, and again some more of that paper which my dad gave to me, and I just love it. Next up is another simple page. This one is for the 19th, which is all about us wrapping presents. One thing I do notice when I look at this is I'd used liquid adhesive for my acetate pieces, and you can't really see it, but I like the look of all of the presents surrounding the picture of the presents, so there's that one. For day 20, I decided to do a throwback to us in our old house. I never scrapbooked when we lived in that house, so I wanted to include some of these photos I have of us decorating the Christmas tree. So it's just a simple grid, and I've got here our address on there as well. Flipping forward then to the 23rd, this is a really important page in the album for me. On the 23rd, sadly we lost my nan in the early morning, and I really wanted to dedicate the page in the album to actually what she was about, the things that she loved. She was obsessed with flowers, so rather than keeping it again in Christmas, I decided to go for all of my Maggie Holmes florals because she just loved flowers. And I decorated around the page with some journaling about her, and then I did the page on the opposite side of the album also to her. Next then on to Christmas Eve, and this is another really busy page. I decided to just go with it even though and not stress, so I've got some pictures of us having a takeaway, which is our Christmas Eve tradition in my family. All of us come together, my brothers, sisters, my parents and my husband and I, and we all have a big takeaway to just sort of celebrate Christmas Eve and that all of the stressing about Christmas is done. I then just got a little bit here about movies. We had Christmas movies playing all of Christmas Eve, and it was really festive and cozy. I've then got a picture of our Christmas stockings. My niece had a colouring Christmas grotto, and she said that we all had to put our Christmas stocking there. This is a photo of the Christmas tree before all of the presents got put under it, and then a picture of my husband and I earlier that day. Another page then for Christmas Eve, and this is all about baking, and it's just a little page to use up some more of my journal cards from the kit by Jasmine Jones. I absolutely love her fancy writing, and I knew I definitely wanted to use that card somewhere. It was my husband's job last year to do loads of baking for Christmas, and he made some really yummy things, so I'm really excited for that again this year. Then moving on to Christmas Day, I really wanted to just use some more washi tape, have it be really festive and fun. So I've got a Santa hat as well as some die cuts and rubber pieces that are from the kit as well. And I'm really just documenting on this page all of us opening our stockings, and of course if you have younger children, my niece had to help all of us open our stockings and pull each item out and have a good look at it before we could. But I really wanted to just do a little bit of journaling here and there just to really show those. And again, I'm using those same alphas which I've been colouring in using my Spectrum Noir marker pens. Going on to actual Christmas Day itself, I don't have too many photos of the day. So I've just got a few random assortments here of me and my husband, my mum and my grandmother, my brother and my niece, and a little tiny one of my husband, as I wanted to add another photo there. I'm just again using some more washi tapes and this traditional Santa die cut, which is my absolute favourite. I love it. Then moving on to Boxing Day, I just decided to use some scraps that I had left of pattern paper to make a border around the page for Boxing Day, so that they were little boxes. And I used some liquid adhesive to do these, which I wish I hadn't have done because my page has all warped and gone into a funny shape. But I decided to add some different things that we did. So we've got games, drinks, pyjamas, gift giving, buffet and sweets, and TV and movies. We have a second Christmas Day on Boxing Day. For the family that can't be there on Christmas Day, we like to all get together on Christmas Day or Boxing Day and celebrate. So I've just got a little bit more journaling about that there. Going on to the 27th, this is another page which I haven't finished. I mean, I have a photo and I've got lots of journaling and a nice card there. We didn't really take very many photos of these days. We were still, you know, grieving my grandmother and sort of getting back into the normal routine after the Christmas holidays. I will sometime finish it, but for me, I still class my album as finished because I still have all of the memories of that day documented and just don't necessarily have full pages. This then is our wedding anniversary day, so I've just coloured in a big cork number in red, one to go with the theme of my December daily, but also to go with our wedding theme. And I've used some of my favourite thickers, which are the doll thickers, and then yet again more of those alphas. On this side, I'm then documenting one of our anniversary cards from my parents, which I thought was too pretty not to include, and then just a little bit of journaling about the day. And then for the final page of the album, this is just our New Year's Eve page, and it is really simple. Just again, some goals for the year, mine and my husband's, the day, a few stars, and a photo. And I decided to keep it simple because I thought that that's all the day really needed. And so if I close that up, some things that I would say I have learned through doing this album is it's okay to not fill every tiny corner of a page. It's okay to leave gaps in the pages. If I was to go back and do a 12 by 12 album now, I personally maybe would do some of the pages more like a mini layout, as opposed to earlier on in the album where they're kind of just a jumble of photos. I would do that. It's maybe a good idea to stick 12 by 12 cardstock or paper on these on top of these pages, as they are quite thin and, you know, things will go through them. I had a couple of pages where I had to cover things up because glue had come through from the other page, but on the whole I'm really happy with the album and how it turned out, and I'm very excited to be doing my December daily this year in a 6 by 8 Ali Edwards album. I will be doing a video coming shortly showing my album and the things that I'll be using for my December daily, as well as lots of photos over on my Instagram, and I am Mrs. C Scraps over on Instagram as well, so I will be posting throughout December processes of my album as it goes along. If you do have any questions, then please leave them in the comment section below and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. I hope that you're very excited for the December daily series, as I am. This is my favourite project of the year and I'm so excited to be using a proper album this year with pocket pages as well. I do plan in the future on alternating these between scrapbook albums like this one and actual albums, just to keep my albums and my stories fresh each year, giving a different perspective and different types of layouts. So be prepared for next year, there will be another album like this, which hopefully I will have learned from the mistakes I made in this album. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you very soon with the next video of the December Daily 2017 series.